Western media reported on June 10 that a meeting of finance ministers of the Group of 20, G20, was held in Fukuoka, Japan, on June 8, which supported taxing digital giants such as Amazon, Google, and Facebook. Makes this proposal more feasible on a global scale. According to the FE News Agency on June 8, this ambitious move, also known as the digital tax or Google tax in the European Union, has received support within the G20. The group of industrialized and emerging countries has set a goal of reforming the general tax system by 2020. Reported that at the meeting of finance ministers held in Fukuoka, the G20 adopted the roadmap drawn up by the OECD. The roadmap proposes to increase tax pressure on technology and internet multinationals in the future. OECD Secretary-General Angel Gurria explained that the roadmap has two pillars: one is to tax according to the de facto location of the enterprise, and the other is to avoid tax competition between countries. The aim is to abolish tax principles that have been in place in most countries for more than a century and have become outdated in the digital age, allowing internet giants to choose low-tax countries as places where businesses pay taxes. Although they have a small proportion of their business in these areas. The tax standards in the new system will be based on the important economic presence of enterprises in each country, the number of data they operate, other intangible digital assets and the number of users, the report said. In his speech, Mr. Gurria stressed that the G20 could choose either of these options, which could give countries greater tax power to generate more revenue for the Treasury. According to Philip Hammond, the British Chancellor of the Exchequer, and Bruno Le Maire, the French Economy and Finance Minister, Britain and France have already implemented this type of tax policy at home. But they are willing to withdraw these policies when the multilateral framework is reached. At the same time, it is reported, the European Commission proposed a Google tax in the European Union, but the proposal could not be implemented because of opposition from member states such as Ireland and Luxembourg, which were selected by Facebook or Amazon as the headquarters of the European Union because of preferential tax policies. The EU now believes this measure will attract the attention of the G20 and will eventually be implemented on a global scale. Both Hammond and Le Maire pointed out the need to establish fair and non-discriminatory tax systems, and stressed the difficulty of calculating the tax activities of Internet companies, taking into account the different business models of Internet companies. On the other hand, U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin stressed that there is already a strong consensus on this measure and called for the resolution of outstanding technical issues so that the measure can be implemented as soon as possible. G20 finance ministers agreed that the measure must be coordinated to ensure that all member countries exert basic tax pressure to avoid corporate flight and leading to downward tax competition. It is reported that the G20 will finalize the details of the proposals next year and will analyze the economic impact of the digital tax to assess the tax benefits that countries can reap as a result of increased tax pressure on internet giants.